All right. Welcome everybody to Carl's Creepshow. You might know him as Art the Clown from Terrifier. Welcome, David Howard Thornton. How are you doing,
Ah,
David?
hey, how you doing? Doing great.
That's good. So, how's the weather down your way?
It's actually finally getting a little bit warm down here, which is nice.
Yeah, it's still a little cold here in Newfoundland yet.
Yeah, that's just how it goes. Yes.
That's, that's it, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience playing the Joker in Nightwing Escalation in 2016, 2017?
Oh god, that's awesome. It's so much fun. I mean, he's like my favorite character of all time anyway, so it's just like it's a dream come true to be able to play him. It's like it's anytime they need me back on set to record more, I'm so happy to be there. We've actually had to postpone filming a few times because of our Barbara Gordon and it keeps getting pregnant. So I'm like, well, can't do fight scenes with a pregnant woman. So well, you could, but
Yeah, yeah.
it could be a little bit disastrous. So I think we're supposed to wrap up filming the rest of my Joker scenes later on this year. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
You look really, really, really awesome, man, in that clown makeup. Personally, myself, you make a way better Joker than Jared Leto. Uh,
Thanks. I think anybody would, especially with that version of the character. It's like, what was that?
oh well, Suicide Squad, but I mean,
Yeah,
uh,
but yeah, tattoos on the face, all that kind of stuff. It's
yeah,
like, no, no, no. This is like the joke. That's just not his style. It's like Joker would never put stuff like that on him, especially in damage. I'm like, like his whole thing is like, if you have to explain the joke, it's no longer a joke.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that your makeup process and even like the character itself that you portrayed, your version of the Joker was kind of like a little throwback. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Yeah, I
Oh,
loved it.
exactly.
It was great.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was doing. I was trying to kind of do a little bit of a mishmash of different Jokers over time, but also stay true to like the comic book version. So yeah, and
Yes.
I've always thought like Mark Hamill's version is closer to the comic book version than any of the the live action versions of them. So I'm like, yeah. So I used a lot of Mark Hamill for influence there.
There you go.
Hey,
I'm looking forward to it.
thanks, man. You just learn from the best, as I say.
Perfect. All right, you've done your fair share of voiceover work.
Yeah, just a little, yeah.
Just a little bit. Roughly, how many voiceovers have you done?
Oh, I've lost count. I mean, I've probably done a good handful or so, especially with animated series and video
Yeah.
games. But like with those, I've played so many different like types of characters and stuff like that too. So it's just I've lost count. But
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I love it. It's so much fun. I'm like, I don't have near the resume that someone like Frank Welker or like Charlie Adler have. So,
Mm.
but
Well, you've done your share.
yeah, I've done my share. I'm trying to keep doing it more though. But I mean, I think more of that will be whenever I move out to LA because
Yeah,
I
there you
think
go.
there's more work out there for voiceover and especially in animation in LA than there is here in New York. So go where the work is.
Yeah, 100%. How did you prepare yourself for an on-screen role as Art in Terrifier? Personally, I thought the actions and expressions were great. It was perfect for the character. Actions for a character who do not speak to begin with is a huge part of bringing a character to life.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a challenge. But I mean, I guess you could say I've been preparing for that role my whole entire life because I grew up watching like the old like silent comedies like Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, Marx Brothers, or even
Mhm.
like Mr. Bean and stuff like. So that's who I got a lot of my influence from for this type of character was from the late great like physical comedians of old that had had to rely on their physicality over any verbal humor because they
Yeah,
had no you didn't have the sound in a lot of those movies back then. So it's like, yeah, you learn from, like I said, again, it's like you learn from the best and you build upon what they have already, like the foundation they've already laid out. And that's what I did with art. I took a lot from those guys. Then I took a lot from like the great horror actors that came before me and just kind of blended that all together in my head and made art.
awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, solid film. Like, you had to play a big role in that. Yeah, you can tell watching it and everything that there's like you said shout out there to the Marx Brothers and whatnot. So,
yeah. I like to say, like, Art is basically the bastard child of Freddy Krueger and Harpo Marx.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's how I look at him. That's what I keep in mind.
Awesome. There you go. What was your favorite kill scene in Terrifier? Mine, hands
Jeez.
down, hacksaw scene. Bit of a
Yeah, that's
maybe cliched, but
yeah, but I mean, it's such a awesome kill, isn't it? It's like we did not hold back at all on that. But yeah, strangely enough, that's not my favorite kill, as most people
no.
would think. Because my favorite kill has to do more with like the story behind it, and it's the decapitation scene that I have with the exterminator.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because the guy that played him, Mike Levy, his film company, Fuss on the Lens, are the guys that started the whole scary clown craze back a few years ago in Staten Island. He was a Staten Island clown that would stand outside and just freak people out. So I kind of like knowing, and it's a fun little Easter egg that Art the Clown kills the Staten Island clown in a way in this film. So that
There we
and
go.
and it's an awesome kill too. It was so much fun. That was something we actually added in later on after we originally wrapped. We decided to add that kill into the film, and it was that's all done with practical effects, no CGI whatsoever. So that was all done right there on the spot. The old-fashioned way with the blood tubes and the prosthetics, so it was a lot of fun doing it that way.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get the same effect. I don't care what anyone says. You don't get the same effect with CGI.
Oh, you really don't.
No,
I
you
mean,
don't.
like, you don't, and it's overly used, especially in horror films now. And I mean, like the first It movie, like, well,
Yeah.
the remake of it relied on CG way too much for my own taste. And they used CG on things I didn't think they needed to use CG on, like his dance scene where he was doing the little basic little
Yeah.
dance, the little jig that I learned how to do in community theater back in the day in Alabama.
Well, there we go.
And like they didn't have to CG me doing that in a Christmas Carol.
No, right? I've always made a statement that like I've compared CGI and the old way of filming
Yeah,
to listening to a CD versus vinyl.
yeah,
It's different, but that vinyl still got that sound that CD can't replicate.
yeah. There's
Right?
something organic about it in a way. It's
Very,
just
very.
yeah, yeah. Oh, so I like to use the example of the first Indiana Jones movie where he falls down the pit with all the snakes, and even though you can kind of see the plexiglass is separating him between the snakes,
Yeah.
those are still snakes in there, and that was actually something for him to actually react off of.
Mhm.
So it was actually something that was tangible there in the scene. That's what I like about practical effects over CG is you actually have something to work with. You're not having to pretend that there's something there. There's actually something there to react off of, and I think you get a better performance from the actors that way
Oh,
due to that.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, so I actually never made a note about this, but if my memory serves me correctly, you played a orderly in Gotham.
I did. I
You did.
did. I created Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, yeah. So how was that experience working on Gotham?
Oh, that was a lot of fun. It was like a 2-day shoot for me, so it was really interesting seeing how efficient that whole unit was on
Mm,
that show. It's just like I'm like the Slaughter Swamp scene. They actually built their own swamp out on Staten Island. They didn't because they didn't want for Drew, the guy that played Grundy / Butch on the show. They didn't want Drew to actually have to like go in that nasty, Staten Island water. So they actually had
yeah.
this nice heated pool that he was able to sink into. But I mean, they set it up so quickly, and it amazed me how efficient that was. Even like the hospital scene. Now, like I'm sitting there eating my dinner one night while they're setting everything up, and I'm not even finished eating dinner. They've already rigged up all the lighting, all the special effects, and everything used for that little scene there. I was like, that was amazing. It was like clockwork.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you already played Joker,
Mm-hmm.
and you've done an orderly on Gotham.
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, down the road, bigger production, something Batman.
Oh God, I would love it. I would
That'd be
love it. I mean, especially I would love to not. I mean, yeah, some people might think like a film or something. I would prefer to do it like on a TV series or something like that,
Mm,
because that way I could have more time to actually dig into the character and flesh him out more than just like
yeah.
2 hours on screen. It's like that would be so much more fun for me. I mean, because there's so many good, especially Joker stories to tell out there, and they
Mm,
that need the time to flesh them out. Like one of my favorite ones is from the Death of the Family story arc, where he it's the one where he had cut off his face and reattached it and everything, but it really delves deep into like his relationship between Batman and also Batman's relationship with the Bat family. And I'm like, that's something you can't tell in just one little movie. You have to really take your time to flesh that out and do it right. And I would love to do something like that. I mean, like, if Greg Berlanti could get me on one of his shows, I would be so happy.
right? That'd be awesome.
It's like, I do you proud, Greg. I do you proud.
I'd love to see it personally.
Oh yeah.
I really
Oh
would.
yeah.
Yeah.
One day, one day.
One day. Hopefully, hopefully, yeah. All right. So, how do you feel your version of art differed from Mike Giannelli's 2013's in All Hallows Eve?
Oh boy. I mean, I think my version differs from him because I added a little bit more of a clowning aspect to the character because that's
Mhm.
more I have more experience in clowning and physical comedy. So I think I built upon what he had already laid out. I mean, he laid out a great foundation though. I mean, like he did
Oh, he did.
a stellar job establishing the character from the get go, how creepy he is, and so I'm like, I had a lot to go off of originally with what he brought to it. So I mean, I love his performance. It's just like I don't want to knock his performance at all. I thought he did a fantastic job. So it was very daunting for me to take on that that role after what he had done. I was really worried because I know what a fanboy I am of like
Right.
of other works, and so I know how I am when another actor takes on a role that someone else had previously played. And I was like, oh shoot, all that, all those times where I've been like, oh, this person's gonna be horrible, blah blah blah. I was like, this is all gonna come back to me now. That was my main concern going in, but I'm like, I guess I did something great with it. So like, I hope to keep, impressing everybody.
Yeah, you done awesome. You really did.
Thank you, thank you.
What was it like working with Damien?
Oh
Damien
God,
Leone, whoever, if anyone's not familiar, Damien Leone created art and
yeah.
film Terrifier and All Hallows Eve.
I mean, Damien is like, I consider him my Dr. Frankenstein. It's just like art is his full creation. I mean he wrote it, directed it, did all the practical effects himself. I mean this is his creation. It's just
Yeah.
amazing what he's come up with, and he's an awesome dude. I'm like, I was just talking to him on the phone just earlier today, and we chat all the time, and like we really got to know each other very well in that makeup chair since I spent over 100 hours probably in that makeup chair alone. So that's how we bonded. And we bonded over like geeky things like movies and television series and music and stuff like that. So it's just like, it was great working with him because like we established a good relationship with each other that way where we could trust each other's instincts, and
Yeah.
so we had that good give and take relationship as actor and director that most actors dream about,
Yeah.
because there were times where he knew exactly what he wanted me to do to the facial expression or whatever hand gesture I would do, and other times he's like, you know what, let's just play around with the scene and see what we come up with in the moment. And
Mhm.
it was great being able to work like that, and that's going to definitely carry into the sequel, as I would say, because like this time, like when he wrote the first one, I didn't even know him at the time, but writing the sequel, I was able to have a little bit input into things. We would always bounce ideas off each other, and I would come up with an idea for a kill, and he's like, "Oh, that's awesome, but what if we did this instead with it?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, and then we can do this on top of it." So we've had more of a collaborative, relationship going into the sequel, which is awesome. It's there, and now he knows my style, so he knew how to write certain scenes for me. So some of these scenes, he's like, "Yeah, here are some ideas for the scene, but
Mhm.
now we're just going to let you play, and so we're going to see what we come up with in the moment as well." So I'm like, "Oh, I'm excited! I'm excited!" So I can't wait to work more with him.
So Damien did give you like a fair bit of leeway.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
sometimes it depends on the directors I've worked with. Some are like that, some aren't. Some I've had some that micromanage every little thing I do, and
Yeah.
I hate that because I'm one of these actors. I like to play with
Yeah.
ideas and just see what I can come up with. I don't like to just do one thing. I'm like, okay, that was a fun take. Now let's see if we can come up with anything interesting to go along with that take and see any different ways we could do this. And that's just how I am. I like to experiment a lot.
That's right. Throw your own David Thornton flavor on it,
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Terrifier 2.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you're able to say much. I know you're not allowed to say much, so I'll rephrase that. Can
Yeah.
we get just a little bit of a teaser about the upcoming film? Maybe
Yeah.
we can we expect a little bit more of a backstory on Art?
Backstory wise, I will say we finally do offer up some clues more into his backstory, but we're not going to fully go into his backstory in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, having a little bit of mystery behind the character makes him more interesting anyway, just like the Joker. You don't want to
Yeah.
know his full origin, but it's fun to know a little bit about him. So that's what we put some tidbits in there about who Art is and stuff like that, or more like what his agenda is, I would say, in
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I will say. This one is definitely more plot oriented, which is
Okay.
because I know that's one thing a lot of people complain about the first one. Oh, there's no real plot to it. It's like, well, there's a basic plot to it, like the basic slashers, but
Yeah.
this one actually has more of a storyline going on, and the reasons behind what Art is doing in this one, instead of just like it's just a guy who comes across girls and starts killing them. It's like, oh, he's actually has an end goal this time.
Yeah.
That is clear. So yeah, we have that, and we are definitely bringing in a what I think is pretty kick-ass protagonist into this. That because I think the Joker needs his Batman. So I'm like, yeah. So we're
Yeah.
starting to bring that character into this one as well. So I'm excited to see how all of this is going to keep going. But I think this script blows the first one out of the water in
Okay.
every way possible.
Yeah, I watched Terrifier and I came away from it loving Art as
Hmm.
as a character. I mean, you've got a maniac.
Yeah,
Bottom line, that's the only way to say it. I mean, dude is demented.
yeah,
Like,
very
but I
much so.
came away from the film and I was like, damn, I want to know his motive.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
is he doing this and whatnot? So, and I don't want to know all of it, like you said. I mean,
right.
it used the analogy of the Joker. You don't want to know Joker's whole backstory. You just want to know enough to say this about him,
Yeah,
right? And that's what I want. I want to know what drives Art to be doing what he's doing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, Terrifier 2 should answer some questions.
Yeah, it should answer. It'll probably answer some, but pose a lot more.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
is this leading us to believe possible part 3
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we definitely at least have three movies in mind for the character, and
trilogy?
hopefully more. Hopefully
Yeah.
more. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what we come up with. But like I think Damon's always had at least three movies in mind for this character.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And well, I guess 4 if you came with All Hallows.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
All right. All right. Can we expect any more upcoming projects from you in 2019, 2020?
Here's hoping. Here's hoping. Like, at least Terrifier 2. But I mean, like recently, I've had some people approaching me with some other scripts and stuff like that. So I'm like, we'll see what happens. It's like nothing from like any big Hollywood studios yet. But hey, I'm like, to me, work is work. You never know. It's like this,
That's it.
like Terrifier. We started off as a slow budget indie film, and now we've become pretty big. So it's just like you never know. So I'm just happy to work. That's how I look at it. It's like
Yeah.
as long as it's a fun role and there's something I can do with it, I don't care how big it is. It's just like as long as there's something meaty to that role, I'll be thrilled to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got a couple of viewer questions. Lance Wagner,
Mm-hmm.
good buddy of mine.
Yes.
Yeah. He wants to know how often do you and Damien get to hang out?
Pretty often, at least once or twice a month. I mean, like, because we're especially going to a lot of conventions together, so we're
Yeah.
basically hanging out a lot at these conventions as well. So yeah, but I mean, if not hanging out, we talk all the time too on the phone. So it's yeah.
There we go. Steve Mainville writes in, how did you prepare yourself to play the role of a psychotic killer clown?
I was just myself.
Best answer.
Nah, yeah, nah. I've just I'm a huge movie fan, so I'm just like I just pulled from everything, just my whole entire like back catalog of movies in my brain. So it's just like I just went from that and threw myself into it. So yeah. I don't go like full method actor or anything like that. I can just I don't know. I can easily create a character if I need to. So yeah.
Melissa Victoria writes in, did you ever give yourself nightmares with playing that character?
No. But I did scare myself a few times in the bathroom when I forgot what I looked like, and I would look up in the mirror and I'd see myself with blood all over my face. I'm like, oh Jesus, oh that's me.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, oh, good thing I just peed.
Right. I'm going to ask you the same type question I asked LC, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him if he met Lambface during the middle of the night and had to survive, how would he? So if you met Art, how would you survive?
Yeah, I would, just run. Just get the fuck out of there. I would be like, nope, bye.
Nope, goodbye.
Yeah, it was just like, nope. It's because this guy, I mean, like, Art thinks like 3 steps ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
So it was like you see in the movie, like all those doors are all chained up and everything. So like he was already thinking way ahead of everybody else. So yeah, he probably already. I'm probably already dead if I come across him. That's how I
Right.
look at it. It's like, yeah, if I see him, I'm dead. I'm just dead.
Not a matter of if you're going to die, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh shit. It's like basically encountering the Grim Reaper. It's like, oh, hey buddy, you want to play some games?
Right.
And do a full bullet Bill and Ted with him.
Here you go. I'm going to go off the charts here now. I never made notes of this stuff. So um, you want to tell us a little bit about the, I guess, on set, it would have been referred to as the Buffalo Bill scene?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, my first nude scene. Yeah, it's like that was interesting because like in the script it wasn't written where I was naked under all that. It was written that I just wore that over my clown costume. And like a few days before filming, Damien's like, we're driving to set, and Damien's like, I have a weird idea, but it's really freaky and it might really work and be really good for this scene. But I don't know how you feel about it. And he ran the idea about me being naked instead under that. I'm like, oh, you think people actually want to see me naked? I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't want to see myself naked. But I'm like, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? If Catherine Corcoran, who played Dawn in the film, if she can like expose herself in the manner she does for that scene, in a very vulnerable way, especially if she can do that and fully commit to it and have no problems doing that, I can do it too. And if I thought about it, it's like, that would be a lot more freaky if they saw that, because it looked like all that was part of my body.
Yeah.
So it's just like I mean, there were some people that thought actually Art might have been female because of that scene. I'm like, no. But so that's how it came about. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And so the fun thing was like, there's a fun story behind it too. Is like the day of filming, like Damien calls me up on the phone that morning. He's like, so dude, do you just bring cocksock with you to set? I'm like, oh, what? I'm like, a condom, you mean? Is that what you mean? Like, no, not a condom, you idiot. No, bring a cocksock. Just bring a sock with you to wear over your junk. I'm like, oh, okay. This is the first. I was like, because I'm like, I don't have something normally just lying around my apartment. Like, oh, here's my cocksock for whenever I need it. So, So I show up on set and I got this bright white tube sock, and I'm like, they're like, oh no, 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 you should have brought a black one. And I'm like, oh, you racist. And I'm like, no, he's like, no, no, it's because like white will show up on camera so well. I'm like, oh, you're right. Oh, I didn't think of that. So like we had to like strategically hide that white cocksock behind behind the fake vajayjay that I was wearing too. So it was just like, oh, this is interesting. And that to make it more interesting, that was the first night that I really worked with Samantha on set. So
Okay.
that was her real introduction to me. So like I come to her and I'm wearing these boobs and this fake vajayjay hiding my white cock sock. And I'm like, hi. We're gonna be working together, and I was like, I was expecting some kind of like, oh my god, type of rush. She's like, oh, that is freaking awesome. Oh yeah, and she's just, I was like, okay, we're gonna have a lot of fun working together if you got that kind of attitude. And it was a fun night on set because we even did like some kind of Adele spoof video of her like hello video
Okay.
where I was wearing all that and it's like hello. It's just it was a crazy night. It was definitely, especially for that poor crew, because like they had to keep seeing my naked butt all night, and just to, I'm one of these people, I have to keep it just light on set. So anytime I walk back downstairs to redo the scene, I would sing some different song about butts. So it's like Baby Got Back or Moon Over Parma or Blue Moon.
Mix a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just to keep things light. So it was an interesting night on set, definitely.
Yeah, it's good that you were able to keep it light on the set and whatnot with all the rest of the actors and whatnot. That was
yeah. Yeah, that's probably what people don't realize like on these sets. It's like you see so much crazy like horrible stuff, and you think that's just like everybody's like it's a downer being on set, but most of the time when the camera is not rolling, people are just joking around and having fun. So it's just like that's how it was for us.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
The other scene that and it wasn't a gruesome scene, but there's just something about it that disturbed me, and I don't know what it is about seeing clowns on tricycles.
Oh yeah, that actually wasn't a tricycle; it was a bicycle.
Or bicycle, yes.
Yeah, even more challenging. I'm like, I'm not like Billy the Puppet. I don't need training wheels.
Right. Right.
But as you can tell, I probably needed training wheels because I crashed that stupid thing all the time. I mean, the crash you see in the film is a real crash too, where I was just like, just doop boop. It happened. I don't know how many times it would be in the middle of a good take, and all of a sudden I would just fall sideways on that thing because it was just so hard to ride.
So that was a legitimate fall that made the cut.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was like, when I saw that in the theater when we did the first screening, I just died laughing. I was like, oh my god, you kept that in. That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, that's about it.
Okay.
One last little thing. Can the viewers get one little art smile? There it is right there, folks. All right, buddy. Thanks, David. Looking forward to Terrifier 2. You're going to kill it, brother.
Thank you, man.
Like, subscribe, and share. And thanks for watching, folks.